It's confession time. I used to think 400 Degreez was trash. Yeah, I said it. Because back in 98, I wasn't checking for Juvenile. I was a Jay-Z fan. Hard Knock Life Volume 2 had me locked in. So when Cash Money came around, I saw those pen and pixel album covers, I heard the sound, and I judged it before I even listened. Turns out I wasn't hearing a bad album. I was missing a cultural shift in real time. And that's the part a lot of people don't really talk about. Because sometimes the culture doesn't miss. You do. Let's get to it. Meet me on the other side.
I am Broadway, the lyricist, homie, just let me do my thing.
Let's clarify something first. Southern hip hop didn't start with 400 Degreez. That's important, because Ghetto Boy, Scarface were already putting in work. UGK was already putting in work. Outkast, already shifting things. Master P and No Limit, already building something serious. So this isn't about rewriting history, but it is about recognizing turning points. Because when 400 Degreez dropped, something changed. And not quietly either. This wasn't a, oh, that's dope for the South type of moment. This was more like, nah, y'all gotta deal with us now. And the crazy part, it didn't sound like anything the industry was used to respecting. This album didn't sound like New York, it didn't sound like LA, and more importantly, it didn't care to. That's what made it more dangerous. Because in the late 90s, hip hop still felt like it only had two homes. East Coast, West Coast, that's it. Then here comes Juvenile with this New Orleans accent, this bounce, this slang, this energy. And Mannie Fresh behind them making records that felt like the block, the club, and the car all at the same time. That wasn't just different, that was disruptive. The South didn't sound different because it was behind. It sounded different because it wasn't trying to be like them. So now the question isn't, can the South compete? It's what happens when they take over. We gotta talk about Mannie Fresh because 400 Degreez doesn't work without him at all. Mannie understood something early. You don't water down your sound to go mainstream. You make the mainstream come to you. So he kept the bounce, kept the drums raw. He kept that New Orleans feel intact, but made it catchy enough that you couldn't ignore it. And the fact that he produced the whole album, that matters because it feels like one world, one sound, one temperature. And once that sound clicked, there was no going back. Think about this. That record shouldn't work the way it does. It's repetitive, it's minimal, and yet it locks you in. Then you got Back That Azz Up. That's not just a hit. That is a cultural reset. That's a record that works in the club, on the radio, at parties, everywhere. That balance, that's crazy. And here's what I had to learn the hard way. Just because something isn't polished the way that you're used to, doesn't mean it's not masterful. Juvenile doesn't always get the respect he deserves. And I think part of that is because people confuse raw with unskilled. Juvenile wasn't sloppy, he was real. He knew how to make records feel lived in. He knew how to make details stick. He knew how to sound like a person, not a performance. And that was key, because 400 Degreez doesn't sound like an album that was trying to impress you. It felt like an album pulling you into its world. And once you step into that world, you realize that wasn't just a moment, that was a shift. This album wasn't just about Juvenile. This was Cash Money stepping into the spotlight. You had BG, Turk, Big Timers, and the teenage Lil Wayne just getting started. So when this album hit, you weren't just hearing one artist. You were hearing the beginning of something bigger, an empire forming in real time. And once that door opened, the South didn't ask for permission again. And this is where I gotta be real because I know I wasn't the only one. If you came in with an East Coast bias, measuring everything by lyricism, polish, and presentation, Cash Money was very easy to dismiss. That was me. I saw the covers, I judged it. I didn't really listen. But time will humble you because now I don't just see hits, I see impact, I see influence. I see how beloved Juvenile is. I see what this album meant to people who didn't need validation from New York or LA. And the truth is, by the time I understood it, they were already gone. The moment had already happened. So is 400 Degreez the greatest Southern hip hop album ever? That depends on what you value. But what it is, it's undeniable. This album helped shift the culture. It helped make the South impossible to ignore. And for people like me, it was a reminder that sometimes you don't realize what you're hearing until history tells you. So now, I'm asking you, was 400 Degreez the greatest Southern hip-hop album ever made? Or was it just the album that made sure the South will never be overlooked again? Also, what was an album that you completely overlooked that ended up being a classic? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel and click that bell icon so you never miss an upload. And be sure to tap in because we're on the road to 1K and we're almost there. And if you enjoy these types of discussions, be sure to check out my Hip Hop Doesn't Tell You playlist. But thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate y'all. Peace.